All right, I'm Mr. Conley. I'm the Project Lead the Way teacher. Over the last 3 years, we have been putting together a program with our NAF Advisory Council and Project Lead the Way to let our engineering students, the first year they do resume writing, mock interviews. We bring in people from town to go through that process. Their second year, they went out and did a job shadowing day at one particular location for 1 day. This year, we took it a step further and they spent an entire week at a business or industry and local in town. We tried to set up most of them with engineers. Due to the size of this town, that's difficult to do. Overall, with the students, what I've spoken with, it was a very positive experience. I'm sure there are things we're going to need to tweak and things that did not run as perfectly as we want, but it was the first time through. So we will reevaluate this and meet tomorrow and see if we can make this a better experience in the spring, and we'll continue to improve over the years. What I would like to do now is let each student introduce themselves, tell you what grade they're in and where they spent their time and who they spent their time with.
I'm Cody Rogers. I'm a junior, and spent my week at FTS with Jason Wigley.
I'm Chris Pekarsky, and I went to Angel Demo, and I spent my day with Daryl Riggs.
I'm Logan Thompson. I went to Citizens National Bank, and I spent most of my day with Chad Hood.
I'm Jared Bradshaw, and I went to Tony, and I spent my week with Rob Murphy.
I'm Devin Mattingly. I'm a junior. I went to Tony, and I spent the day with Rob Murphy.
And I'm Elizabeth Gray, and I'm a junior, and I went to the E-Town Transportation Cabinet, and I spent every day with a different person.
I'm John May. I'm a junior, and I went to City Hall and was with John Thompson most of the time.
My name's Daniel Moppin. I went to TG. I spent 4 days, the first 4 days with Carl Dial, and the last day with Miss Tamara.
My name is Carlos Cabrales. I'm a senior. I went to NOAC in Springfield, and I was with a different engineer every day.
I'm Brandon O'Daniel. I went to Angel Demo, and I spent my day with Daryl Riggs.
I'm Ashton Gribbins. I'm a junior. I spent my day at Joy Global, and I had a different engineer every day.
Okay, what I would like to do is see if we can organize this, ask a couple of questions. The first question I'm going to let the kids answer. You can just put your hand up and we'll have Mr. Mattingly go to you as you respond. I want to know what the best part of the experience was from an educational standpoint. What did you get out of this that you truly, because I know, for example, we'll start with Brandon O'Daniel, because I saw your Facebook message and you sent me a couple text messages, really enjoyed the experience. What was the best part of the experience?
Actually being out on the floor, actually getting to see what people are doing, and actually getting the experience.
Okay. Somebody else want to respond to that? I would like you all to respond, so the sooner you respond, the better. You can start with Ashton there.
I think the best time was, since it was the end of their fiscal year, they had a lot going on the floor. And we actually got to follow a specific group of customers through the whole process. So actually seeing from the engineering to it being put together and then sent out, it was...
That's a unique experience because you don't get to see that a lot.
Yeah,
so that's
pictures
good.
and everything. It was really cool.
Hey, Daniel?
My highlight was when Mr. Carl showed me all the chemicals that go into the rubber and why they go into like accelerators. They speed up the process. Some protect its ozone, and understand like how each chemical actually provides a purpose.
And if you have noticed while they're answering this question, they were supposed to document their week, and as you noticed, Daniel had to refer to his notes, which is awesome, which means he documented everything that he did. Hey, who else would like to answer that question?
I got to deal with a lot of building plans that were around the city, and I thought that was really cool.
Logan?
I got to deal with a lot of money.
Did you get to count money as well?
Yes, I got to count a lot of money.
And you were at the bank?
Yeah.
Okay. Devin?
Probably looking at all like the programming and stuff he has to go through.
Did you get to do any programming individually?
Not really.
So you
kind of watched them.
Watched what they did?
Yeah.
And same thing with you, Jared? Do you have anything different to add? Because you both went to the same location, so.
Yeah. We did a lot of push-out tests to see how many newtons it takes to break these bolts, and she was doing all that.
So it's quality control testing, basically. Okay. Chris?
I really enjoyed drawing in CAD on the computer, so that was probably my highlight.
And what location were you at?
Angel Demo.
Angel Demo. How many of you, did you get to draw draw on CAD as well at Angel Dental? You got to draw on, how many of you spent time on CAD or Inventor at your locations? Put your hands up so I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 out of this group. All right, Cody, what about you?
My highlight was I got to go in quality control and like see what all they had to do, make sure everything was safe to use, and what they did to just make sure it was safe.
Okay. All right, how about the most challenging thing that you had to do during the week? I know, and everybody's not going to be able to answer this question because everybody's co-op experience was different. But, for example, we'll start with the CAD question. Did you draw something that they needed or something that they had previously worked on, or were they just letting you experiment with the program?
It was mostly just a design because they already had the part, like they had what they needed, they just needed a drawing to go and produce more.
Okay. So it was actually a real working thing that you were working on.
Yeah.
Same with you, Brandon? One of the things I expressed to them before you guys went out there was that I wanted you guys to be tossed some work. Maybe it's something they did last month. Maybe it's something they've already finished. But you get your hands on and get to see what they work on a daily basis. And it sounds like most of you were able to accomplish that. How many of you, it's the first time you've been in a manufacturing facility? Or anybody in here at all? Now, I gotta be tactful about this question, but what part of the co-op experience do you think that we could improve upon? And instead of asking every one of you, let's let 2 or 3 of you answer that question. We'll start with Daniel Maupin.
One thing that I believe that this co-op could improve on is the period of like where they're on break or they're doing something that you can't be beside them. Like I was reading rubber books, handbooks that I really didn't understand the vocabulary at all. It was pretty bland process. I really didn't like that.
Okay. Somebody else want to volunteer some information about something that could be improved upon? And what I mean by that is, I wanted you to spend the entire week engaged, working. Either shadowing an engineer, working on potential things that they have worked on in the past, or helping solve a problem. So, how many of you, out of curiosity, spent an immense amount of time in the morning learning, and then it kind of slowed down in the afternoon? Okay? That about right? Next question. And I'll respond to this by a show of hands. Out of this experience, how many of you, it's made you absolutely certain that you want to go into engineering? Maybe not this particular field, but you're sure you want to become an engineer because of the experience that you just went through. Start with Brandon.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to elaborate on that. Is this something that you're going to go into because of this co-op experience? Is this going to allow you to narrow in on what you want to do as your discipline?
I mean, I love seeing the experience. They actually gave us work. We got to draw up specific parts for them that they needed. They actually put us out and let us do packaging for door panels and consoles to actually send to Japan, Taiwan. We actually got to work on that and do it ourselves. And it was just the experience that actually helped me think of what I wanted to do.
Okay. Carlos?
Whenever I was there, what I did was I worked with injection molding, and he showed me all the processes and injection molding. I mean, it's hard because you like the way the plastic forms. You can't have a right angle. You have to have a curve, and it's a lot of math, and it's fun.
Okay, well, good. Who else had their hand up? Ashton?
Well, I think I went to sort of see if I could really get into the mechanical engineering field, but there were a lot of electrical engineers as well, and so I talked to a lot of them, and I think, I'm sort of swaying in between those two. The hands-on and what they talked about sort of, got me more in depth on thinking about what I wanted to do, so.
That's exactly what the program should be about, so that's awesome. Cody?
Mine was more industrial engineering, but it narrowed it down to me wanting to be an engineer in general because I like the idea of helping things run more smoothly, and just to better the process.
Now, since I didn't clarify this in the beginning, everybody's co-op was slightly different depending on where their location was. The hours were supposed to be 8 to 3, which typically is a school day. We had one student that was 9 to 4, correct, because he was working banking hours. And then I had a couple students that, depending on the person they were working with, allowed them to leave a little early on the last day. This is a paid co-op. We will continue to strive to make this better as we progress through this. Do you have anything else that you want to add that I haven't covered today that you feel like is worthy of being shared? Because here's how I want you to look at this. On Sunday night, before you went out to your co-op, there was not a single person sitting in this chair that wasn't a nervous wreck. There was not one of you that was not concerned about what your week was going to be. And I'm sure after the first day you were a lot more comfortable. Is there anything that I left out that I didn't ask a question about that you would like to share for somebody that's going to go through the same exact experience next year? Or maybe make them at ease a little bit, or make them more excited than they are scared.
Yeah, it was a nice experience, you know, getting to see everything. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody to do it again, to do it for the first time.
Hey, Alyssa, could you elaborate a little bit, because you got to leave the county a little bit farther away than anybody else got to go at the E-Town Transportation Cabinet. That is a location where the Keene Scholarship, where most of those people work. It is a 4-year full ride scholarship, and there are lots of engineers that work in that office that have obtained that scholarship. Could you elaborate a little bit more on your week and what you did each day?
Well, we got to go to a lot of job sites, like where they've done work and stuff, and that was really cool. And they showed us like a bunch of plans and how they would like plan to do stuff. And they told us like some new plans they were talking about, like how Taylor County's getting a new high school and like some new bypasses. And then,
You know, I was also, to help you along with this, was told that you guys got to help solve a problem. They had a problem with a turn.
oh
and-
well, they'd already like designed it and stuff, but they let us like see what we think.
Put your input into the
Yeah.
problem. And from what I understand, after speaking with another co-op student that was with you, the idea that you three came up with was worthy, right?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, he told us like to all come up with an idea, and like one of the ideas that we came up with like was actually the idea that they used, and so they thought that was really neat that we could think of something like that to do.
I think the biggest thing out of this co-op from the industry perspective is local industry is getting to see how capable and competent our students are. I have not heard a single negative comment from any of the business and industry. I'm sure we'll get in more in depth when our advisory committee meeting meets tomorrow and we review what we've done. Obviously, we have some things to work on, and there's some things we could make this better. But it was our first run, and overall, I think it was an outstanding experience for the students. So if there's nothing else you want to add, anybody?
I want to go back. I would love to go back.
Now yours was not as much of an engineering as everybody else's. Yours was more of a banking thing, but did you get to spend any time with the computer IT people on the security of the bank? Did you spend any time discussing that?
Well, Chad isn't really the security person of the bank. It's Jim Reed, like he's the security officer.
But did you spend any time with him is my
Yes,
question.
yeah, I've done something with loan processing.
Okay. Anybody else? Final thoughts? All right, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.